Greetings everybody, it's Rob from Sage Tower Games and I am back with another video. This video actually should have come out a bit earlier, but I had to re-record this video due to just the previous one where it was a bit sloppy in terms of the recording. I was testing out some new settings and I could have edited to make it look nicer, but it was just kind of a mess. Didn't want to really go through the whole process. Stuff was just bad. So I'm redoing it here for now. And the video I want to talk about is a Paizo announcement that came out a while back. Nothing to do with the OGL, something different. And this is something that's been talked about, let's say a few weeks ago from now. And it was pretty big when it first came out, but obviously now with everything else going on in the tabletop world, it's kind of been overshadowed. And that is, Paizo announced a big change to how ancestry ability boost can work. What I mean by this is they announced that any ancestry or race, for anybody who doesn't know, ancestry basically is the term they use for race in the system, can have 2 free ability boosts. Or you can do it what it says in the book if you wish, where it's usually like, you know, like 2 ability boosts, maybe 1 free and then 1 floor, or whatever the combination is for them. Now, what is the purpose of this? The purpose of this is it breaks the mold in terms of character building. No longer do you have to think, if I want to be this particular character, I can't be this race because this ancestry doesn't help me for my particular build. For instance, you want to be a dwarven bard. That's great. Bards use charisma. Dwarves on paper have a floor to charisma, a -2. So even if you stack everything else into it, you're still looking at a 14 as your main stat, as opposed to a 16 or an 18. So like right there you can see that you're actually hurting yourself by picking an ancestry that isn't beneficial for what you want to build. And it's all the stereotypical stuff. Dwarves are really more sturdy and rugged. Elves are usually more intelligent, dexterous, but maybe a bit more frail. Gnomes are a bit weaker, etc., etc. Gone. Which is good in one sense, I will say that. You can now build things. I had a game where I had a player play a gnome barbarian. And I'll be honest, they weren't that great because it wasn't them. It was the fact that because they had the -2 from the penalty for being a gnome and everything else, that their strength stat wasn't in par where it should be. So they just did less damage. They hit less times because they were missing, a +1 or +2 more than they could have had. And it wasn't their fault. It was just, they made an interesting character idea. Seeing the small little gnome rage out is a fun-eyed concept, but they got penalized for it. Now, this is good. This is a great move, in my opinion. But what makes it great is the caveat they added to it. It is not a variant rule. It is an additional option. What this means is you can go 3 ability boosts and a floor, or you can go 2 free ability boosts. So they're not getting rid of this one. So for those that, the hardcore, dwarves must be rugged, elves must be frail, this kind of, that kind of thinking, if you want to play that way, you can still play that way. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. But it also opens up this side as well. It gives you both options. Doesn't discount this side and doesn't discount this side. And that's a good thing, in my opinion. I do know that I think Wizards are doing something similar with 1D&D, but I think they're eliminating this option completely and just saying ability boost for free for everybody. And I think a lot of it may also be semi-cultural, because I know there's a lot of You know, anybody who's been through the scene has seen all the different debates and arguments over, you know, are orcs evil? Is this ancestry this? And, you know, common tropes for ancestries that they want to get rid of. And that's a fair point. But I think giving us the option to have it free both ways is the better way to do it. Because sometimes, if you're a new player, you don't want, you know, this 2 free ability boost option, because then it gives you less, it makes it harder for you to decide, potentially. You can kind of say, okay, I don't know what I want to play, or you could go, okay, you want to play this, or you can pick this class. This class has a benefit to this stat, this ancestry has a benefit to this stat, and so forth. Ease them in, and then they can kind of slowly progress from the side that, you know, needs kind of a bit of a guidance to the side that says, I want to make an elvish fighter, 18 strength, craziness, or, you know, 18 con, whatever, the elvish beefcake kind of monster. And that can work now. So I think that's a fun idea. That's a good change that they made. And one of the few things I like that they've announced. I'm not going to go over the other updates in the update they made. There's a few different changes. I know they updated a weapon, the gnome flick mace, and a few other alchemist changes, but those I'm not really as focused in on as this change, because this change, in my opinion, is the big one that came out from that update post that they made. So what are your guys' thoughts on the ability boost debate, if you will? Do you guys like the old school kind of every ancestry has the specific boosts and flaws? Do you like it where all the ancestry should have just pick what you want kind of deal? Or should it be a kind of mix and match where you can do whichever one works better for your table at that time? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you guys are down there, be sure to hit that subscribe button so we can build the channel up, get more tabletop content and more board game content. As you can see behind me, there are tons of games that we can discuss and go over, as well as Pathfinder content and more to go over. So hope to see you guys in more of my videos, and thank you guys for hanging out with me and listening to me talk about this.